Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is DeLadysigner, and we're here with a new speed build video of our city zoo. And in this episode, we're going to build a giant panda habitat. But quickly, before we jump into it, let us thank our very first fantastic sponsor of the channel, Instant Gaming. At Instant Gaming, you can get your most favorite games with up to 70, sometimes even 90% discount. If you use the link in the description down below, you will get an amazing discount, and you will also be supporting the channel. So whether you're looking for a discount on Planet Zoo, The Sims, City Skylines, Jurassic World Evolution, or any other game, go and check out the link down in the description. Now, I actually first wanted to build a timber wolf habitat, to be completely honest, but along the way I found the habitat just way too fancy for a timber wolf, and I just didn't find like the biome and stuff fitting, at least like for what I had in my mind. It was way too tropical for the timber wolves, so I was like, you know what? I should not do this. I need to have another animal in here. And I think this one is actually that much eye-catching that this would fit a giant panda. So here we are. We're building a giant panda habitat. Now, recording this episode took me like 2 days or something. That's why I'm uploading a little bit later than normally. But hopefully you guys understand. I had a really rough week. So yeah, I'm trying to get back on track with like building and stuff in Planet Zoo as well, but I wasn't really feeling inspired. Like if you're not feeling super happy, then things just don't go super smoothly with your creativity and stuff. So yeah, but I'm really happy with this habitat, and I didn't want to rush it or anything. So I was like, you know what? Just take your time and don't finish it too fast or anything like that, and you will be fine. So hopefully you guys will still enjoy, even though the video is a little tiny tad later. So this habitat is located between the clouded leopard habitat, the white Bengal tiger habitat, and the big greenhouse we just finished with the proboscis monkey, the binturong, the babirusa, and the Malaysian tapir. And for this area, I'm gonna go for the more red East Asia architecture style. I think this makes total sense, being next to the Bengal tiger habitat, which is also like the red style and stuff. And the colors of the greenhouse also really blend in very nicely. So I think maybe like just part of this Asian area is going to be with more of the red architecture, and the rest, or at least one side, is going to be with the white one. Maybe we find something else that is going to fit as well. I don't want to pin myself on anything anymore, because maybe you have read my community wall, and I was doing a poll about a dome, and I was talking about a dome, and I'm just so uncertain about so many things this week. So I just really don't know what to do at this point, and if I'm still going to do the dome. I want to do the dome, but I'm not entirely sure how I want to do it and what kind of style I want to go for. And first I thought like the Tibetan, I don't know if I pronounced that right, style, but inside a dome, that's gonna be very hard. Like you can't really do too crazy things with like a lot of buildings and stuff, and the main focus is definitely just dome itself. So I'm just not entirely sure anymore. But if you guys have any ideas or suggestions, do let me know in the comments down below. I'm still trying to make up my mind, but I am really happy that I'm really enjoying this part of the zoo right now with all the red and stuff. I do really like that. And for some reason, I was always holding myself back because I thought like, no, it's gonna look super weird if I'm gonna start more red buildings, but it actually works just perfectly fine. So I don't really know why I was holding myself back to start anything with this, but I'm really happy with how this habitat has turned out. So really do hope that you guys will like it as well. So recording this episode took me like 2 days or something, as I just said. So the speed build was like almost an hour long when I already sped it up, obviously. So I did cut out a lot of the parts to make it a little bit shorter. I'm probably not even able to talk over the whole video, but we shall see about that, obviously. I'm gonna do my best at least. So we're starting off with a main viewing gallery of the habitat, where the guests will have the best viewing over the habitat. And inside of the viewing gallery, there are some educational signs and some conservation signs and some benches and those kind of things. And after that, we start building a bridge over the habitat. Now, this bridge is definitely very heavy, very strong, so we don't really need any support underneath the bridge. But obviously it's gonna look very nice for the guests to have this bridge going over the habitat and seeing the giant panda walking underneath them. So that is really cool. And for the edge of the habitat, I use big stone pillars. I actually have no idea, but they are in the Asian section. They're humongous. I think you can also make bridges and stuff. Well, you can use it whatever you want to, of course. But it really works well as a habitat barrier. I somehow think that Mike used them in Koali Zoo as well, like this, or something like this. He used them as some kind of edge, and it reminded me of that, and I think it definitely works out super well, so I think I should definitely try and use that a little bit more often in this area, since we're also going to use more of the stone pieces. Instead of like only the limestone, we're now having the red pieces with plaster, and we're going to have like these Asian stone pieces. I don't really know how this building style is called, but you can definitely tell underneath the building, the lowest area, that is the stone that I'm talking about. But yeah, I definitely think that all blends in very well together. And on the other side of the bridge, we will also have another building, but that one is mainly to hide away the keeper's gate of the habitat. And there are also some really ugly terrain edges inside of the building. So we just do not show the inside of that building because, yeah, well, you just don't want to see that. So hopefully, we're going to build a cave. So hopefully the giant pandas will be using the cave instead of like that ugly building with the gate. But from the outside, it definitely works super well. I don't know. It's all looking very cozy and still spacious. Around the whole bridge area, so I do really like how that is looking, and I don't know, I'm just really enjoying this red building style. I'm still not really good at it, to be completely honest. Like I don't really know much about Asian architecture, so I'm just messing around with pieces, I guess, but I'm just really enjoying it. So, and that is what matters in the end. So after following the path over the bridge, you will go through a cave with a cave viewing, and later I will also make this kind of glass roof with windows where the giant panda could walk over, and the guests could potentially see the giant pandas from above. This I will talk about that a little bit later as well. So in the habitat itself, there will be a river flowing through, so we can use those cute little Asian bridges, which I absolutely love, but you can barely use them anywhere. But finally, we're able to use those. I just really love those guys. They're just super adorable. So yeah, I really I used 2 of them in the habitat. At first, I only had 1, and I was like, no, I want more. So yeah, I basically split off the whole habitat with a river flowing through the habitat, and using those little bridges to make sure that the giant panda has to use that or go through the water. But I did make sure that it's not able to enter the water from all angles. So we also create a waterfall with the waterfall pieces of the aquatic pack, and make this blend in with the surroundings by coloring it dark and adding some more mossy rocks to create some natural feeling towards it. And I do really like that. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm not really sure if I should have gone for like more of the V-vexes of the waterfalls itself instead of these guys, but they work. They do what they should do, I guess, and I think you all can tell what I was going for while making this waterfall, but I'm not entirely like not 100% happy with it, let's put it that way. And on the left top of the habitat, so above that waterfall, there will basically be that is basically where I started filling the habitat in. So there's this little cabin with a rolling feeder or whatever it's called. And that one is really close towards the guests to get this nice viewing up close to the animals. And that is where I really started decorating. Like normally when I start doing my habitats, I actually really start with like a plain habitat, then I do terrain, and then I do rocks. I really have like this pattern of how I'm filling in my habitat. But in this case, I actually just went different. I don't know how. I just wanted to do it differently this time. So every time I just start like this area, and then I finish it off basically, or almost finish it with like the green and the little details with like the rocks and stuff. And then I move over to a different area. I really don't know what is going on this week, but things are going different than I'm used to. But I hope it's a good thing. I hope you guys still like it. So above the waterfall, there will be this path leading towards this little cabin from one side to the other side of the habitat, with like this circling bridge area over the habitat where the giant panda can walk under as well. So we really have some different height elevations and stuff in this habitat. So I do really like that. So, and of course, with the chain link fences, I did make sure that there is some space in between to make sure that we have another fence, so the guests will not be able to stick their fingers through the chain link fences or anything like that. Like, obviously, it is a sandbox mode, so normally you would not be able to use those chain link fences with the giant pandas, but since I'm playing with sandbox mode, they're not going to ruin my fences, so that's all good. And yeah, for the safety, we make sure that we have like these double fences to make sure that the guests cannot stick their hands or their fingers through the chain link fences. So honestly, this habitat is really made on the go. So I didn't use any specific inspiration or anything like that, in case you're wondering. I know that I get that question a lot, very often in my comments. So, but really a lot of things I add is really what just pops up in my head while I am building. So yeah, there were just a lot of things that I didn't really plan out in the beginning. But it all went fine, But that is also how I got towards the glass overpass. That was definitely not the plan, but I just figured it out on the go, I guess. So on the lower end of the waterfall, there will also be a little cabin, but this one will have this like herb center. I'm not really sure how that one is called. And some hay in it instead, so the giant panda can rest and can chill a little bit, but still is very much visible for the guests if they're standing on the main viewing gallery. And around the whole habitat, I added more enrichment items, obviously, to really make sure that the animals will use most of the habitat. At least that is what I hope they will do, but obviously also on the cave itself and everywhere. So I really tried to spread them out like very tactical to make sure that the giant panda will move from one side to the other side throughout the whole habitat. At least that is what I hope. So talking about the cave and the glass viewing, I at some point added the giant pandas and I realized that the habitat was actually very small. Well, not very small, but I realized that it was quite small. So I was looking like, is there any way that I could expand this habitat, which is actually kind of hard because I already put down all the paths and stuff and laid out where I wanted the habitat to be. So the only spot that I had left was like the cave that I was building on top of it. So that is how I figured, like, okay, if I'm able to get the giant pandas onto the cave, and then I was like, maybe we could do something with like some kind of glass window or anything. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna build some kind of, well, you call it an overpass. Well, the giant panda is able to walk over it, but it's not really an overpass. But they are able to walk over the guests with this path. So yeah, I don't know how to call it, but I thought it was just a funny idea. It's not entirely realistic. Obviously, you have to pretend that it's like very thick glass or anything. But besides that, it also looks very nice just having this this lighting coming into the cave. Like normally you have like these really dark caves that we're building, and this time it's like more of a open, bright cave or whatever you want to call it. But I do really like the difference than what we normally do, despite if it's realistic or not that the giant panda won't be walking over it, I guess. Now the foliage I used in this habitat is mostly bamboo, the trees with the orange flowers, of which I always forget the name, and of course a lot of apple trees. And I also used the small aquatic rocks, of course, to give the habitat some more smaller details. And the last thing I added was like this bigger feeder, because I actually barely use those big plate feeders. I don't know, they're just humongous. But I do remember from ever since I started playing this game that I really loved the animations with like those giant pandas sitting in a circle on that big feeder. So I really wanted to have that one, but I didn't really have that much space left. So in the end, I decided to go a little bit more over the water again, to create some kind of platform to add the feeder onto it. So yeah, it's really placed strategically still, with like the main viewing gallery having a good viewing onto that feeder, and as well from the bridge that we have on the left side. So yeah, I think it really works well to give that close up meeting with the giant panda as well when they're eating. I just really love to see that, especially when they're having like those small little baby giant pandas and just sitting there on it. I think many guests would love to see them eating from that close. So yeah, I think that's just the best spot in my opinion for the space that I still had left in this habitat. So yeah, I'm actually really curious what you guys think of this new habitat for the giant panda in our city zoo. Do let me know in the comments down below. If you guys have any ideas or suggestions for the dome, as I just mentioned, please do let me know. We have a whole playlist in the description down below of City Zoo, what kind of animals we already have in the zoo. I know that a lot of people are sometimes like suggesting me certain animals that we already have in the zoo, but I can also imagine that you can't remember all of them. But there's just a playlist, and in the titles you can see the animal names. So it's quite easy to figure that one out if you're wondering what animals we already have in the zoo. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, what kind of style dome or what kind of animals, do let me know, because I'm actually uncertain of what I did with the poll on the community wall, if that is what we should go for. And maybe you guys have some really cool other ideas, so do let me know in the comments down below, of course. And yeah, I appreciate all the feedback on this build. I do hope that I can inspire you guys. Leave a like at the video if you guys enjoyed, of course, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And make sure to check out Instant Gaming if you're looking for any Planet Zoo DLCs or any other game. Of course, there's a lot of discount, so definitely go and check that link out in the description down below as well. You can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all those other social media pages. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do enjoy the rest of this speed build video, and I really hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye, guys!